Hey everybody, 6 o'clock Thursday night, cooking with Kathy. We're close to the holidays, so tonight we're going to do a prime rib or a standing rib roast. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. In case you don't know, my name's Kathy Jones. I'm the executive chef at Second Helpings. So we're just going to have a good time tonight. This will be the last cooking with Kathy until after the holidays, the first of the year. So we'll get that schedule out to you as soon as I know what's going on. But I think in January we're going to do some fun, like kind of, I'm going to call it football style food. We'll maybe do some crab cakes and chicken wings and fun stuff like that. So anyway, we're going to talk about a standing rib roast or a prime rib tonight. So thanks everybody for hanging out with me. So what I've got here, if you guys can see, this is about a 6-pound rib roast. So it's a bone-in ribeye. I like to cook them with the bone in. You can do a boneless one. Obviously these bones are a lot of the weight, but it gives a ton of flavor. So this is probably, 3 bones is probably about the smallest size I would get, even if it's just 1 or 2 people. Remember, those bones are in there and they're going to take up a lot of the weight and a lot of the space. So I would say 3 bones, depending on the size, you go all the way up to 7, 8 bones, however many people you have in your family. But this would serve, I think that it's very safe to say that you could get 3 to 4 servings out of this. Again, depends on how you cut it, how thick you like it cut. And again, if you wanted to do like 3 nice size, you would have basically 3 cowboy ribeye steaks. So I just wanted to show you this before we start doing everything. This is tied. And again, that's totally up to you. If you like to keep it close together and keep it tied, that's fine. If not, you don't need to. It's not a mandatory thing that's going to affect the way you cook it either way. So that's the rib roast. And again, this is about 6 pounds. So I think the recipe, if you're looking at the recipe that was online, that was for about a 12-pound ribeye. So we're just going to do half, basically, of what the recipe calls for. If you want to do a bigger one, obviously, you can go ahead and increase what you're putting in there. Who's hanging with me tonight? Who's hanging and what are you eating?
We have Barb Rottenkamp Brinkman, Anita, Bart, Emily, Wendy, Cheryl.
Awesome.
Marilyn.
Hi, you guys. So what's for dinner at your house tonight? Just a few minutes ago, this is what we were snacking on. A little bean dip. That's what was the appetizers tonight. So it could just be dinner. I don't know. So $5 feeds a family of 4. We are still busy feeding people at Second Helpings, more so now than ever. So $5 feeds a family of 4. We're between 37 to 40,000 meals a week. We're still using the satellite kitchens. I know a lot of people have been asking me that. Yeah, we're still using the satellite kitchens. Nesso, Psalms, and Side Street Catering are the 3 satellites that are helping us out. But we're doing about 25,000 of those meals from Second Helpings every week. So
Emily's having Southwest grilled chicken and rice.
Awesome.
Mark Allen's having leftovers of the very thing you are
I think I saw you cooking that the other day, Mark. So.
Makina Sharky says, hello, chef.
Hey! Cool. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I've got the oven turned on to 500 degrees, and that sounds like it's really hot, and it is really hot. So there are 2 methods of doing it. You can cook the prime rib a longer amount of time on a lower temperature, slow and low, or what we're going to do is we're going to pop it in there at 500 for about 20 minutes and get a nice crust on there. Then we'll turn it down, and depending on the size of your rib, it could cook anywhere from another 20 minutes to another hour and a half, depending on how you want to do it. If you want to do it slow, you just start it out at 250 and let it cook. It's really important when doing a prime rib or any kind of roast, beef roast, that you've got a nice meat thermometer that you could set in there and check that out. So we're going to go to about 125 degrees. We're going to pull it out, and it's still going to be cooking at that point. So you want to get it, you know, depending on what temperature you like. If you want rare, medium, obviously you can let it go a little bit longer. But once that temperature starts to rise, and once you get to 100, it goes up pretty fast. So we have
noses.
Visiting nose for the meat. I better scoot it back a little. So the first thing we're going to do, again, I think you guys have heard me say a lot of times, I like to keep it pretty simple. I like whatever the meat is to speak for itself. So we're just going to make a nice garlic herb crust or rub that we put over this. And this is the same recipe that I've used in several restaurants when I've had prime rib on the menu. It's just really simple, but it gives it a lot of flavor. This rib was trimmed up a little more than I would normally do it. I would normally ask for this. I got this from the grocery store. I did not get it from Turketti's, and I apologize for that. But if I was going to Turketti's, I would say, hey, George, leave that fat cap on there. So that fat cap gives it, as well as with the bone, a lot of flavor. So that's a little less fat than what I like on there. A lot of people like to cut that fat cap off. I'm all about keeping the fat cap on there. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is what I would tell you guys with the garlic, I went ahead and I just minced this garlic before we started. If you're using a lot of garlic and you don't want to sit there and peel it all, I would either suggest roasting your garlic and it's going to come out in a paste, or buying some garlic and oil already minced up. So, all right. So what we're going to do is we are going to just take the rosemary right off the stem. What's everybody having for your holiday dinners? Are you doing a prime rib? Are you doing a ham? Are you doing the turkey? Are you going totally different and doing, who did I talk to? Somebody I talked to today is doing duck, and I thought that was a pretty awesome Christmas dinner. So what's everybody else having for Christmas or holiday or New Year's or on our strange, weird year this year? Should probably eat weird food. Whatever that is. So, celery. You should just have celery casserole.
Barb Brinkman's having beef tenderloin with red wine reduction sauce.
Oh, that's good.
Amy Mattingly's having ham.
That's good. Are you going to do a demi with the red wine on the filet? That'd be nice. All right. Okay, so first I'm just going to chop up the rosemary. And again, we're not looking for anything fancy with this. We just want to chop it up so we can get it in there into that paste. So, this is pretty dry. It's popping all over the place. So,
She said yes.
Awesome.
And Dora's having prime rib, roasted garlic potatoes, and broccoli for New Year's.
Ah, that sounds good. And Dora, it was good to see you the other night on the volunteer update. I have missed you. Haven't seen you in a while.
Debbie Everman said, looks yummy.
We're trying. All right. What's everybody's big Christmas gift this year? Anything fun and exciting? 2021, right? That's everybody's big, exciting Christmas, New Year's, Hanukkah. Every gift is happy 2021. Okay, so I've got this pretty well chopped the way I want it. And just grab a dough scraper out. And we're going to put this right into just a mixing bowl. If you have a pestle and mortar, that's cool too. We're just going to use a mixing bowl, and we're going to kind of maybe use a wooden spoon and the olive oil and make a nice little paste that way.
And Dora said you as well. See you tomorrow.
Awesome! Alright. And again, just pulling the leaves off of the thyme, so off the stems. The stems on the thyme aren't too bad. You could actually kind of chop them up and put them in the paste if you wanted, if it was fine enough. But the rosemary is so woody that you definitely want to get that off of the stem.
Barb said her boys are getting a ride around the IMS in an Indy race car.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And Debbie said no gifts, just trying to help others while enjoying our own good health.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I'm trying to think of what exciting things I can tell you. Oh, hey, so we have a anonymous donor that through the end of the year will match every gift up to $40,000. So it's pretty cool. That's a pretty nice end of the year gift. So we got that going on at Second Helpings.
Michael Gilson said, "Hey boss, bring some of that roast to work tomorrow."
Okay.
She has to get it past us first. 5 dogs, 3 adults.
Yeah. Good luck. I'd probably get tackled trying to take it out of the house. So I did want to give an update on the baking show last week. It looked like it was going to come out a lot worse than it did. So it actually turned out pretty good. I probably overcooked it just a little bit, but it tasted really good. It reminded me of a pecan pie with cranberries in it. So I really got a lot of that pecan pie taste out of it. So that was but I thought I was really afraid when I put that pie in the oven last week. I was like, oh my God, I don't even know what this is gonna turn out like. But it turned out really good. So I do have pictures. I forgot to get them to Emily. So Emily, I do have those pictures, and I will shoot them to you so you can post them. Because nobody believes probably that I even finished it. They probably thought, oh, well, as soon as we turned off the camera, we were done, and we threw that out. So, but it survived, and it got eaten, so.
Mark Allen said, if you need any help with operations, let me know. I have plenty of time and willingness to serve.
Awesome, Mark. That would be great. I would love to, after we get through the holiday season, I would love to have you come in and just kind of hang out in the kitchen. I think you'd have fun doing that. So that would be awesome, Mark. Thank you. All right, so now we got the thyme, and we're just going to do kind of the same thing with it. Do a little chop, chop, chop on it. So, I think a lot of you volunteers know that Bailey has decided that he's going to make an appearance, at least with his voice. So, maybe he doesn't want me to talk about what I'm getting ready to talk about. Anyway, I was going to tell you guys that Mikey Line, our CFO, is retiring at the end of this month. We're going to miss him tremendously, and those of you that are volunteers in the building know that Mike knows every single possible thing there is to know about Second Helpings, our building, everything. So we're truly going to miss him, but we have hired a new CFO, COO to replace him, and we're really excited to have Tasia Holmes on board. She's coming in full time the first part of the year, probably the first week of January, but she's in the building now, part-time, getting used to everybody. Extremely sad to see Mike go. Glad he's going because he's going to retire. So that's a good thing for Mike. And we're definitely happy to welcome to see us so she can be part of our family at Second Helpings.
Deb, yes, the prime rib is what you get from a standing rib roast. She asked that question.
Yes.
She said Mike will be missed.
So he will truly be missed. So
Karina's watching from Sitka.
Karina! Hey, Karina!
Congrats.
You got one of the first vaccines. Yay, Ra. I'm excited for that. And who?
I said she got a vaccine. And Bona did too today.
Oh, awesome. Well, good, guys. Good for
All
you
the way
guys.
in Sitka.
All the way in Sitka. Okay, so we've got the rosemary, the thyme. I know this seems like a lot of pepper and salt, but that's what's going to form that crust. That flavor is going to drip down into the meat, and yeah, it's going to be really good.
Dino,
what's up, Dean?
he said, I freaking love you.
I freaking love you too, man. I saw that some new bottles the other day. So one day when we can travel again, we'll get out and see you one more time. That was awesome.
Well, maybe more than once.
Well, yeah, maybe more than once. I don't know what I'm talking about. Dean, I'm trying to cook.
He said, send me your address and I'll send you hand bottled. Oh gosh, Dean, I don't know how to spell that or say that. Valdegui?
Awesome. Okay, it's coming your way.
At first, it says send me your Addie. We have an Addie granddaughter. I don't think you want her.
But wait, is it a trade? I don't know that our daughter and son-in-law would be excited about us trading the granddaughter for a bottle of wine, but hey, you never know. So,
oh, it's the vineyard we visited.
Oh, yes.
Gotcha.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so we've got the garlic, the salt and pepper, the rosemary, the thyme, everything's in here, and I'm going to mix it up. Now, sometimes there's enough oil in the garlic that you don't need to add any olive oil, but I like to be able to have the paste a little bit, so I want it to stick together, but I also want to be able to spread it a little bit too. So I want it a little more wet than what it is right now.
Valdegui. That's how you say it. He did it phonetically for me, so.
That was awesome. Thank you, Dean. That is fantastic. So. All of you guys remember Dino?
Yeah.
Dino's Vino on Mass Ave and in Fountain Square. So, all right. So I'm going to take a little bit of my olive oil here. And again, you'll notice on the recipe, I didn't put how much because we're going to put a little in here and then we're just going to put it over the roast. And that depends on how much you want, how much fat you have on here. I'll probably put a little bit more because the fat cap on this one is not as thick as I would normally like it. But I'm just going to put a little bit of olive oil right here in here. We're going to mix it up. Again, like I said, if you have a mortar and a pestle, that would be a little bit easier, but this is doing fine. I mean, we're not trying to make it like a super paste. That's a new word too, a super paste. So, all right. Anybody else new on? What you having for dinner tonight? What's going on for the holidays? Then I'm just going to I like to use a wooden spoon. This is actually a sushi paddle, but it's now being used to make the paste for the standing rib roast. So, all right. And I'm just going to put a little bit more oil in there. This garlic didn't give off very much oil, so.
It was all on your hands.
It was. It was pretty sticky. You guys know how I feel about that. So, all right. Anybody go to Winter Lights? We still haven't gone to the fairgrounds. I think we're going to go next week. We're going to do the meetup and head out to the fairgrounds maybe next Tuesday or Wednesday. So,
Oh no, the chihuahuas are out playing.
Great. Okay, so we're gonna have it looking like this. So it's gonna be a nice crust. That's what we want to happen. We want this to be a crust when we put it on there. So I'm gonna put on some gloves. What else is going on, guys? We had a little snow yesterday. That was nice. I thought that was pretty cool. So.
Kate Pedwell is watching. Carrie Ann Maddox, Jane Fuqua,
Hey!
Sunny Briscoe.
Yes. It's good to see everybody. Okay, so normally if you were just cooking any kind of roast, you would probably do a nice salt and pepper on it. And obviously, since we've got this crust, we're not going to do any of that. Some people, if you like, a lot of people like to take and just put this in a pan with hot oil and get a nice brown on it first before you put the crust on it. I like to keep it all sealed in. So we're keeping all those juices in, because if we brown this first, a lot of that juice is going to come off from the fat. A lot of those juices are going to come off. So I like to keep it, and then it's going to drip down into your pan. You're going to have all those juices. If you want to make a nice au jus, if you want to make a gravy or any kind of sauce, you can do that that way. So nothing wrong with browning it first if that's what you like to do, if that's what you've always done. I just like to let all the juices go in there and brown it on that really high temperature in the oven. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this oil, and again, however much you want. And like I said, if this would have had a bigger fat cap on it, I probably wouldn't use as much oil. And then I'm just going to rub this on all sides of it, because you want those end pieces to get a little crisp and brown too. All right, and now I'm just going to take, and we're going to take the crust, and we're just going to rub it on there.
So Karina asked regarding frozen prime, how many days should I thaw it before roasting it? It weighs about 15 pounds.
Well, I've got a big one. I would say soon. Like, I would take it out probably Saturday afternoon or Sunday. Are you eating it on Thursday or Friday?
Amy wants to know, what type of olive oil do you prefer?
You know, it depends. I use all kinds. If you're doing a finishing oil, meaning you're not really going to cook with it, then you definitely want extra virgin, a little bit higher quality. If it's something you're cooking with, you know, olive oil, no matter what, has a really low smoke point. But the less expensive oil the smoke point will be a little bit higher, but not much. So I think that, again, it just depends on what I'm doing. I'm just using a basic olive oil for this, and if I'm doing a finishing, you know, definitely the extra virgin. There's extra virgin. It's almost like wine. Sorry, Dean, but it is almost like wine. There's olive oils that you can get that are, I mean, and some of them are so smooth you can just drink them. I mean, so if you're using an olive oil for a bread dipping or something like that, I would definitely go with something that's, you know, an extra, a really nice one.
Karina said she's doing it for the new year.
Then I would say you definitely probably want to go at least 5 days, I would think, Karina, with that. I mean, that's a pretty big one, so it's probably going to take 5 days for that to thaw, 4.5 to 5.
Emily asked how the dogs liked the snow. So the Chihuahuas found the closest lawn chair they could find a patch of grass to use the bathroom. So that was pretty funny. The newest Chihuahua wasn't around last year for any snow, so.
And he thought it was things that he had to chase.
Yeah, when it was falling on the ground, he just kept wondering where it was coming from and trying to catch them. Very cute.
One thing that I also did is I pulled the meat out of the refrigerator about an hour before I started. So you don't want it to sit out too long, but you definitely want to get it where it's not right out of the refrigerator.
Are you doing
Okay.
the other side too, or?
Huh? Oh, wow. Forgot that side.
It's all about perspective. Melissa's watching.
Melissa, I haven't seen you in forever. When are you going to come over?
Becky Hilfiger.
Yes.
I feel like I just butcher people's names, but they're so, sometimes you don't know who I'm talking about if I don't try.
I know. All right. So as you can tell, I used just about all of the crust that I made for that. All right.
That's my job, critique.
It is. So this is going right into a baking pan. We're using like a stone type pan. My theory is it doesn't need to go on a rack if it's not going to, if you're not going to cook it forever. So if you're not going to cook it, for all day, I don't think you need to have a rack. A lot of people like that rack because they think the juices drip, pulls it away from the meat, so the meat's not sitting in it. I think with this, and again, like I said, I want to use some of that juice. I'm going to make an au jus with all of that comes off of there. I may even make a gravy, I don't know. But I definitely want to use the juice that comes off of there. Let me wash my hands, guys. Does anybody do anything really different with your prime rib? Has anybody tried to do one like in your big green egg or outside of a little smoker or on the grill?
Jane said you probably already said this, but how much does that weigh?
This one weighs 6 pounds. So I think Emily has the recipe, and the recipe I put up was for like a 12-pound roast. So again, you can just take, and this is a bone-in. So if you're going to do a boneless, remember that your weight's going to be more true because this one has the bones in it.
Horseradish sauce, for sure.
Oh yeah, horseradish sauce, definitely.
You should say the ratio of that, how to make that really yummy stuff.
My horseradish
Yeah.
sauce? So when I make horseradish sauce, I do it a little bit different. I like to I put mayonnaise in with it. I know a lot of people just use sour cream, but I like to do 2 parts sour cream, 1 part mayonnaise, and a bunch of horseradish. So I think that the horseradish depends on your taste, how spicy you want it. And I also like to put pepper in there. I don't put much salt, but I put a lot of pepper, and every now and then I'll put just a splash of Worcestershire sauce in there. So that's, again, pretty simple. I like to keep things as simple sometimes as I can. So, I'm going to throw this in the oven, and we'll see. We've got the oven preheated to 500. So I'm probably going to have to show you guys pictures again tomorrow because we're obviously not going to hang out and watch the rib cook
For 2 hours.
2 hours. So.
And Dora said, not sure yet, but husband might use the smoker.
Oh, that would be, yeah, I'm excited. I really want to get a really nice smoker. I do a lot of cooking on the grill, but don't have like a dedicated smoker, so to speak, so I think that's on my list. Another thing is sous vide. Sous vide in the meat is a really good
You'd have to have a big one probably to do a roast in.
Yeah, to do a roast like that, but you could do a steak.
Oh,
like
yeah.
You could cut the ribs up,
True.
and everybody could have their own part of that.
Their own packet.
Their own little packet of meat. So, hey guys, $5 feeds a family of 4. We have that anonymous match through the end of the year. They're going to match up to $40,000, so it's a great time to donate. Also, head over to the website. There's the apparel button shows up under the donate button, and there's some really cool apparel on there that you can order. Fun Christmas gifts for yourself, and it's 15% of all of the sales from that come back to us at Second Helping. So that's a cool way to do.
Mark said that he's done one in the big green egg.
Yeah.
The egg heats up to 700, so it requires constant supervision, moving back and forth from under the hot spots to avoid scorching the outer areas, but cooking time is fast.
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Debbie said she's never prepared a standing rib roast, and then she said, wow, 500. How long in the oven?
So we're going to leave it at 500 for about 20 minutes. And what we're going to do there is get that nice brown crust on it. Then we're going to turn the oven down, and we're going to turn it down to like 250. And once we turn it down, 250, 275, depending on how much the roast weighs, it's going to be in there from anywhere from 20 minutes up to, could be an hour and a half. So I would say, you know, with the 6-pound one, I'm probably going to leave it in, I'm going to check it at 10 minutes after I turn the temperature down, and then go from there. Meat thermometer is really the most important thing. Because depending on where you want it, I pull it out when it's about 125 and let it rest, and it's still going to cook up. So, and that way that gives you the nice rare part in the center, and it also gives you the more well done part on the ends. If you want all medium rare or all rare, I would say you probably want to pull it out a little bit sooner, and it all depends on the weight of the roast. So. But yeah.
Jane said our house is going to smell good. Yeah. Dogs are going to be waiting for that to come out.
So,
How often do you check? Emily said, how often do you check the thermometer?
So what I'll do is I will check it, once I turn that oven down, I'm going to check it probably every 10 minutes. Because once it hits 100, it's going to start, it'll get out, it'll jump up there pretty fast. And again, it's going to still cook. You definitely want to let that sit for at least 15 minutes, before you go to slice it. You want to let the meat rest. You don't want all the juices just pouring out everywhere, because that's going to lose all your flavor too. You want to keep that sealed in. And then, like I said, then you can slice it.
That was Kate's question. How long does it rest?
Gotcha. But yeah, at least 15 minutes. And again, the bigger the size of the roast, the bigger the roast, the longer you're going to want to let that rest. And again, if you have more roast, you're obviously going to have a bigger section of how you go from rare to medium to the ends. So, and again, if everybody eats it medium rare, you could probably pull it out at 120, but 125 is a safe area to pull it out at.
Jane says, I always wonder while it's resting, should it be covered with foil or a towel or something?
And you can do that to try to keep some of the heat in. There's nothing wrong with doing that. So when I don't do that, because what I do is, once it's out of the pan and I'm making my au jus, the one thing that I like to do is then, before I serve it, is dip it in the au jus to warm it up a little bit. Now that au jus, if you leave it in there too long, will continue to cook it, so it'll, that's another thing. If you have, if everybody likes it medium rare or rare, and one person likes it well done, you can still cook it so everybody that likes it medium rare, and you just leave that one piece in your au jus a little bit longer. You don't want the au jus boiling or anything. You just want it to be, nice warm temperature, 145 or so, and then you just dip the piece of meat that you want to make a little bit more well done and leave it in there a little bit longer. So that way you kind of take care of everybody, how everybody likes their meat. But yeah, I don't worry about covering it because I just dump it in the au jus. So, cool. So let's see if I've got any other news to tell you guys. I'm gonna take a little break until the first week of January, the first full week. I'll be back on Thursday, and we're just gonna do some easy, fun football food is what I'm calling it for the month of January. Maybe do some chicken wings with a few different sauces one time, and maybe some crab cakes, and maybe a nice chili. So some easy food.
Kate would like you to tell them more about the au jus, how you get that, what you do with it, or.
So basically what I'm going to do is once all the juices start dripping off of the roast, I'm going to pull my roast out. I'm going to use the same pan that we're using to cook it in. We'll pull the roast out, and I'm just going to look. I'm going to say, okay, how hearty is this? Do I want to add? And I might add a little bit of beef base, a little bit of water, and then we'll just adjust it that way. So I like it to be a little bit heartier, meaning I'm going to let it cook a little bit longer. I don't like just kind of a light brown au jus. I want that to be a little bit heartier, a darker brown au jus.
On the stove?
On the stove. And no thickening agent. I'm just doing an au jus. And again, if you want to make a gravy or a sauce and you want to thicken it up a little bit, you can always do a slurry. Which is just cornstarch and water. Mix that up. I shake it, mix it real good, shake it, and then that's the point where if you're going to add that slurry in, you want to get your juice that's in there, the water, beef stock, whatever else you've added. You want to get that boiling and slowly pour in that cornstarch, and that'll keep it from getting lumpy. But yeah, for just the au jus, like I said, I'll probably put a little bit of beef base, and I like to use like Beyond Bouillon or something like that, where it's actually a base, not a bouillon cube. And then I'll put that in there with a little bit of water and let it cook a little bit and get all that garlic and the pepper and everything that we put on there, the herbs. So that's how I do that.
Amy said thanks for the great ideas. Debbie said have a great holiday and vacation.
You guys too. I am gonna sign off. I'm gonna just let you guys know how much I truly appreciate all of you. We can't do any of this without you guys, and I mean all of you, encompassing all my friends, all the volunteers, all the donors, all of our food donors, and some of you fit into every single one of those categories. We truly appreciate you. We can't do it without you. Let's all hope that this craziness of 2020 is gone as soon as possible, and that 2021 is bringing us a little bit more normal of a year. And at least my wish is that next year, at some point, I know it's not coming super fast, but my wish is that we can all sit around one day in the dining room at Second Helpings or wherever, and we can eat together and have fun and laugh and look at each other's faces again. That's my wish. I wish all of you happiness, health, joy, everything that it takes to get through this year. And again, we can't do any of this without all of you. So thank you for everything you do. I'll have pictures for you guys tomorrow. I love you.